Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. In this video, what I want to talk to you about is I want to break down my entire content client signing system. I'm going to show you exactly how I'm showing up on social media, what I'm doing here in 2025 to actually generate leads, get people to learn more about what it is I do, actually get interested, and then ultimately what I'm doing to convert these people into clients and what my whole sales process and everything looks like. So I'm really excited for this. For those of you guys that are new here, you don't know who I am, my name is Tel. I'm the owner of Content and Clients, and I've been building online fitness coaching businesses for the last 9 years. So I got started back in 2016 after dropping out of college, got into the online space, started building my business over on Twitter, and leads us here today where I said I've been, like I said, I've been doing this for the last 9 years. I've been consulting with other business owners, other online fitness coaches for the last 4 years. And so everything that I talk about, all of the videos, all the trainings, all the resources and playbooks and things that I create, it's always just made off of my own experience, the things that I've actually done, the things that I've seen to be successful. And so that's kind of where today's training comes from. So I've been creating content, like I said, for the last 9 years. And I've landed clients on pretty much every single platform that's out there, besides LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the one platform that I've never really done anything on. But I've pretty much been on every single platform. I have built funnels and systems and businesses around those platforms. And so I just want to share with you, again, what it is I'm actually doing here today. I found what I am seeing is the most enjoyable, the most fun, the most sustainable, and the most long-term system and process that I've really done over the last 9 years is it's like what I'm currently doing here today. So I call it the content client funnel. And I'm again just going to break down for you exactly what that looks like, where I'm posting, what I'm posting, the different types of content, and then ultimately again, how it is I'm actually converting people. It's really interesting. I'm using a video sales letter right now, as well as a Google document to actually do most of my pre-selling for me. So I'll walk you through what exactly all that looks like. Like I said, back in 2016, when I first got started, I actually started out over on Twitter. So Twitter, which it's now called X, right? That was my main platform back then. And my business at the time, it was really, really simple. The business itself was I would tweet every single day. And when I say I would tweet every single day, I was playing the volume game. So I was literally tweeting between 30 to 50 individual times every single day, which sounds crazy. It actually is crazy. It was a ton of social media and content creation. At this point, I've created over probably 60 to 70,000 individual pieces of content, over 40 to 50,000 pieces just on Twitter alone. So I've posted so many times over the last 9 years, but I was posting 30 to 50 times every single day. And it sounds crazy, but that was I built a really big following over there, at least for the time being. I got to 10,000 followers super quickly on Twitter. Mind you, this is back in 2016. So in 2016, 10,000 followers then is basically what 100 or 200,000 followers today is. Not a lot of people were doing the social media thing back then. Some of my biggest sales objections were just dude, what is online coaching? Can you explain to me, what does this even look like? I've never heard of online coaching. Again, you got to remember, this is 2016. All this stuff was so brand new back then. So the business back then was I would tweet every single day. And then from there, my main sales mechanism, my main funnel was to get people over to my email list. So I was building an email list. I was sending daily emails with different offers and showing client results and things like that. The two mechanisms that I was using was I would tweet, I would gain attention, and then I would promote a lead magnet. And the way you got the lead magnet was to put in your information and then I would email it over to you, right? So it was just a landing page, give me your name, give me your email, and then that lead magnet would automatically get emailed to them. So I was using email, and again, I was using a lead magnet. And then as well, I was trying to use the DMs, but I never really figured back then, I never really figured out the DMs. Most of it was actually just coming from my email list itself. So I'm doing all kinds of tweeting. I'm going viral all the time. I've got thousands of followers. I'm literally growing by 1,000 followers every single month, just growing and blowing up. I did that until about 2020, 2021. It was sometime right around that period where group funnels, so using Facebook groups, really blew up. And this is actually what I see so many people doing right now. It's actually what I taught all the way back until about 2023. The group funnel is what I was actually teaching online fitness coaches to use as well. It's what I was using. And that process it's one where I still see a lot of people trapped, and they're trying to figure out why is it not working? Why are they not getting consistent leads? And it's because it's my belief that funnel is not as effective as it used to be. It's really effective if you have a team and you have a setter and you have somebody that's willing to literally just spend 6, 7, 8 hours a day just sending DMs and talking to people. But for a lot of solo business owners, I don't believe that's actually the best funnel to be using, which is why inside of my own program, I've shifted away. Not only do I not run the group funnel anymore, but it's not what I teach anymore because again, it's just not what I actually believe is the best way. What I'm doing now is actually what I believe the most in. And so the group funnel was basically, whether you ran ads to grow your Facebook group, or if you were doing, where you'd send friend requests, you would get new friends, and you invite those friends into the Facebook group. The group funnel was all about just get as many people into your Facebook group, get them into your big welcome post, your tag in post, shoot them a DM, have a back and forth conversation. You'd go live in there at least once a week. You would drop one of those 2 steps, the value hooks is what we call them, the comment down below type post where you give away a freebie. You would post those at least 1, maybe 2 times a week. People would people would raise their hand. You'd reach out to people, and that was just really the group funnel. It was a mixture of dropping free resources, going live, and then you would post maybe 1 or 2 times, outside of that in there. But the game was really just how could you hammer as many DMs as possible and get as many calls booked in as possible. That is what made the group funnel so successful, and it was wildly effective. It was actually from 2020 to 2023 when I stopped doing it. It was like bar none the biggest names in the industry, whether it was in the business coaching industry or if it was the fitness coaching industry. Didn't matter which type of coaching industry you went into. The group funnel was what everybody was running. That thing crushed. It's where like setters came out, like really took over inside the industry. And that was the way to do things. But then slowly what I experienced around 2023 was that as Facebook began to kind of shift their algorithm, the group started being less and less effective. And we really had to lean into sending even more DMs on top of what we were already doing, which was a ridiculous amount. And the entire funnel itself just really quit working like it once did for us. In fact, the people that were winning the most with that funnel, it actually wasn't even, and this is actually what's happening nowadays, they're not actually really winning because of the group itself. It's more so because they collect information, they get people's phone numbers, and then they start either calling them, so actually just like cold calling them, or sending them text messages. And so it actually really has very little to do with the group itself anyways. So that brings us full circle. Like I said, I have built successful businesses, made hundreds of thousands of dollars, landed dozens and dozens and dozens of clients, helped other online fitness coaches literally land hundreds and hundreds of clients themselves inside of all these funnels, whether it was over on Twitter, on X, getting people to email lists, whether it was running a group funnel. And this system, this funnel, this content clients funnel that I run now, it has not only been the most enjoyable, not only has it been like the most fun to actually run, but this is the most in alignment like way of growing a business that I found, where I'm actually genuinely enjoying my business activities. I'm enjoying my day-to-day. I'm enjoying actually waking up and thinking about growing my business. And I don't wake up and just feel like with some of those old funnels, I would wake up and it just kind of like felt like a lot of burnout. It just felt like there was a lot of things that I more so had to do, not necessarily that I wanted to do. Sometimes that happens in business. Sometimes there's just some certain activities that it's like, you know what? It's just like fitness. Like you don't always want to do it. Sometimes you just literally have to be disciplined and you just have to say, you know what? Like I'm a freaking business owner. It's okay. I don't have to love this thing, but I do know that it needs to get done. That's totally okay. But what I was finding in 2023, towards the end of 2023, when I really made this transition to this new way of doing things, I was reaching a place where that was really beginning to take over my entire life and my entire business, where it was no longer just like 1 or 2 things that I didn't really like doing. It was like everything. It was like my business as a whole, the clients that I was working with, the things that I was teaching, like I was just literally not enjoying any of it. And so that's where this transition came from. And that's why like I am so passionate about what it is we do now. I am so passionate about the funnels and the process and the businesses and the types of offers we build now, because I found a way to truly build a business around myself. I've truly found a way to build a business that's not just based on tactics, so much like the group funnel and kind of all that. It was like based on the group working, but then the algorithms changed and the group kind of stopped working. And I started to realize like, hey, the businesses that focus on that were really just built on this one single strategy, this one single tactic, versus now the business that I have at the moment, it's really built around me. It's built around the things that I'm passionate about. It's built around the things that I like to talk about. It's built around a lot of the activities that I actually enjoy. Now, there is still things in my day-to-day life where sometimes, it's like, hey, I just gotta, kind of grit through it a little bit, bite my lip, so to speak, knock this project out in the next 30 minutes. It's maybe not my favorite thing, but like that's how every business is always going to be. But again, it's all about the balance of like how much of that is happening. If right now you look at your business and the entirety of the business, it just feels like pain. If you just feel like the business plan that you have right now, it's not even like, oh, there's just 1 or 2 things that I have to push through. It's like the whole thing. I really want you to go through this training. I really want you to go through this video today, because business does not have to be that way. You can actually have fun with your business. You can enjoy the stuff you're doing. And so let's actually dive into what this looks like. So I want to start by talking about the content ecosystem. All right. The content ecosystem is really it's the top of funnel. It's the big place where people actually run into me for the first time. The content ecosystem is made up of 3 individual components. So, and the first piece that I have my profile. All right. My profile is kind of the way I see it is like my profile is my home base. So right now I use a little bit of Instagram and Facebook. I would more so say like I use Instagram and then I use a little bit of Facebook. But a lot of times, like just what I post on one ends up going to the other. But my profile is really just like it's my home base. It's my home base. I would say that my Instagram is really it's the funnel that I'm really trying to develop and build out. I'm a little bit new over there. Like I said, I've been on Facebook the last 4 years, and so but I'm transitioning to where Instagram in the future over the next 6 to 12 months is going to be 100% where I'm putting my time, energy, and effort. And the way that I see my profile, the way that I see my Instagram is, and my Facebook profile as well, is like this is home base. This is the headquarters. This is like where I show up and everything kind of distributes from there. So I'm going to get into it here in a second. I also use an email list and I use this YouTube channel that you're watching this on right now. And the the overarching point though is like my profile is the home base, and then everything else kind of pushes out. So my YouTube channel, my emails, all those types of things, like those are more like extensions of my actual headquarters of this profile. So your profile is the home base. It's the place where you really are trying to, the way that I see it is it's kind of like a town square. It's the place where I make my announcements. It's the place where I put the majority and the bulk of my content. It's kind of that go-to place where people can really just like learn a little bit about who it is I am, a little bit about what it is I do. It's like your Facebook or your Instagram, the way I see it is like, these are the modern websites. All right, this is like the website where people just kind of come in, they learn about the kind of results that I get people, they learn about what problems I actually solve, they learn about who I am as a person, like they just kind of get some of the highlights. And then from there, I have two other really cool parts. Like I said, I have an email list as well as I have a YouTube. And the way that this works is that the profile it's kind of just like that initial homepage. You land on it, there's some information, there's some cool things to check out, you consume a little bit of content. But again, it's like a lot of things, it's like cool. It's like they're 60-second reels, they're 90-second reels. There's nothing that's like too crazy deep. There's nothing that's like too crazy complex. But as they begin to dive deeper into things, that's where they begin to run across my email list. And that's where they begin to run across my YouTube channel. And my email list and my YouTube channel is where people begin to really go deep with me. So let's talk about the email list first of all. The email list, there are several different ways to do emails. When a client comes to me and we're looking to get some of this set up, there's kind of like two different types of content creators I see. I've been creating content for the last 9 years. And so this has been my experience as well. There are some people that are more writers, and they're like zone of genius, their strength, the thing that they should actually lean into is like writing. And so we actually make the email list like their main focus, where it's like we're creating what I call long form content, where we're putting out stuff that, it's like you can only get so much information out of like a 7-second reel. But whenever you're putting out, long written form emails every single day and newsletters that people are reading, this is where people can begin to really go deep, and they can really begin to understand our philosophy, our mechanisms, our ideas. They can really begin to learn about the program, like what it is we do, how it is we actually help people. And so the email list, that can become one way where that can happen. Now, there's another way to use the email list. If you are more of a video person, if you're a person that's like, hey, when I'm thinking about like it's rush, it's a rush hour, I've got 30 minutes and then I've got to check out of the business, but I need to get some content created. If the first thing you think is like, dude, let me just whip out my phone and just record a quick video that I can upload, then YouTube is probably going to be your main platform. That's going to be the main thing. And so the way that you would use email in this instance is the email almost becomes more of like a secondary algorithm. The email becomes a thing where you actually update people, or it's like, hey, by the way, I dropped this free resource, just here this morning on my Instagram. Here's a link to go check that out. And then it's a link that shoots people back to, if you put like some sort of like comment down below to get a free resource, on your Instagram or on your Facebook profile, like that's the way you'd use the email list. Or if you like shoot a brand new YouTube video, it's like you would use your email to be like, hey, I just released a brand new YouTube video talking about XYZ, like here's the link to it, go check that out. So you would begin to use your email almost as more of like a secondary algorithm to redistribute the content and the stuff that you're creating. And so then when it comes to YouTube, all right, so there's two ways to use email. It can either become your main, like if you're a writer, we can write on that thing every single day and really take people deep with us and turn those people into clients. Or if you're not so much a writer, you're more of a video person, we can use this email to just like redistribute content. So if you're more of a video person, then it comes down to YouTube. And YouTube, again, it serves the exact same purpose, where our goal is not to be like going viral. Our goal is we're not trying to be Mr. Beast. We're not trying to gain a bunch of subscribers necessarily. What we're doing is, again, remember the profile is actually like the home base. The YouTube channel and the purpose that it serves is it allows us to take people deep with us, to put out videos that actually teach people like what it is we do, how it is we actually help people. We can put out client interviews, like we can actually talk about interesting stuff. Sometimes these videos are educational. Sometimes these videos can feel more like a podcast. But the point being is like they end up being like these 10, 15, 20, 30-minute videos where people can really go deep with us. Now, the reason this is important, the reason why we've set this process and this system up as a whole, this content ecosystem, is what we found is that for roughly every 60 minutes, so roughly every 1 hour of content that somebody consumes, they would be willing to spend about $1,000 with you. So if you have a $2,000 program, we're trying to get people to consume about 2 hours of content with you so that they become a client. Now, this is why this becomes important. If, for instance, the only thing you have is an Instagram page and you're putting out 7-second reels, they might get a lot of attention. They might, get a lot of likes, and it might even get a lot of engagement. But how many 7-second reels is somebody going to have to consume to reach that 2-hour threshold? I mean, they're going to have to follow you for months and months and months and months. And so we're using these profiles as the town center to grab people's attention, to pull them in, to get them paying attention to us. And then we start sending them to longer form stuff. So if you, for instance, put out, let's say you have 3 videos that you release over the next 2 weeks that are 20 minutes long and you have a $1,000 program. Well, we're going to need to get them to consume 1 hour of content, all right, in this example. And so if you can get people off of your Instagram and to consume all 3 of those 20-minute videos, those people are going to get warmed up much more quickly. So we can actually warm them up through the next couple weeks or the next several days, rather than them having to follow us for months and months and months. So this is why so many coaches right now are struggling, is because the game has shifted. If you go back to 2023, again, like I said, with the group funnels and things like that, it was all about how do we get more DMs out? How do we get more calls booked? And just do lots of selling. The way things have shifted in 2025 is that it is now about content. And the goal is to use our content to do all of the pre-selling for us. When we talk about the right topics and we talk about the right problems and the right pain points, and we understand who the ideal client is and like what's going to be content they actually enjoy, what do they actually want to consume, then we can put this stuff out in long form content and we can speed up this whole process of pre-selling them and getting them to consume more content. So said differently, the thing that actually sells people right now in 2025, it's not about how long somebody follows you. It's not like somebody needs to follow you for 6 months. It's not like it's a number of like, well, like I just need to, spam them out in the DMs or whatever. It's a content consumption game. It's about how do we get them to consume more content so that they become indoctrinated into our worldviews, into our philosophy, so that they begin to understand who it is we are, what it is we do, how it is we actually help people. It's going to be through hours of content consumed that people are actually taken from cold to sold. And so many coaches right now, the reason that they're struggling to get leads and to get calls and to get clients is because they have no form of long form content. They're just posting on their profiles, and then they're sending all kinds of cold DMs and trying to get people to want to book in calls. But the issue is that these people are not nurtured enough. These people are not warmed up enough. These people have not consumed enough hours worth of content to actually be able to make a buyer's decision. And again, that's the thing that is needed here in 2025. And this is actually backed by research. All right, I'm not just saying this. Google calls it the 7-11-4 rule, and that's something I would encourage you to look up. But what it states is that Google did research on all of the different businesses and the data that they have access to. And what they found is that the average consumer in 2025, they're going to consume roughly 7 hours worth of content across 11 different touch points in 4 different platforms before somebody actually becomes a client. So again, what we found is it's more like 1 hour for 1K. Google's saying 7 hours. We've not quite found its need to be that intense for an online fitness coaching program, but the principle still stands that people need to be consuming hours worth of content. 11 different touch points. So this would be things like DMs, follow-ups, them seeing and interacting with you on the timeline. There's going to be like 11 different interactions. And across 4 different platforms, this is why we're using profiles, email, and YouTube lists. But again, with the way that we've done it, it's not super time consuming. It's not something that, I don't want to say like, it's not something that is going to feel like you're running 4 different social medias or 3 different social medias rather. It's like we've created a system out of this where it's like we're releasing 1 YouTube video a week. We're sending these emails. Again, if you're doing the YouTube method, the emails now become more like a secondary algorithm, but then also you've got your profile, which is really this home base. And so again, we've created a system that's very lifestyle friendly. It's very sustainable. My clients, it really only takes you 3 to 4 hours a day to be able to knock out your daily tasks to build a $10,000 to $20,000 a month business. But this is really the ecosystem, and this is how we're showing up on social media. This is top of funnel. This is just about getting leads, getting attention, and getting people into our world. Now let's go ahead and let's talk about the actual content that we're creating. So this is really important. The content we're creating has really shifted. Back in the day, the objective was like to create as little content as possible. It was to spend as few minutes as possible a day creating stuff. And it was more so just go hammer the DMs, go get people booked in for calls, get on those calls and just drag these people across the line. Show them irresistible offers, tell them about scholarships, get them into, whatever kind of like deals and discounts and fast action promos that you can, irresistible offers, guarantees, all that kind of stuff. Again, it was just about get people across the line, objection handle. It was not uncommon for someone to enter your world at 8 a.m. in the morning. By 10 a.m., you're getting them booked in for a call. And then later that afternoon, you were enrolling a new client. That was like super common back in 2020 to 2023. I mean, it was just about like, dude, whoever wants the sale, like you just go get it. Nowadays, again, people are now a little bit more skeptical. We've went through, everything we went the last several years. Everybody's skeptical of the health experts and just everything that happened. And so people are just doing their research, which is again where this content consumption is coming into play. So content has now become king. Content is more important than it's ever been before. Content is the thing that is actually pre-selling people. And so we have still direct offers, which is like literally just your hard calls to actions. This is still an important piece to actually growing an online fitness coaching business. The thing that's needed nowadays is that we really have to get specific, and we have to understand specifically what is our offer promise? Like, what are the results that someone is actually going to get? Vague call to actions and vague kinds of like CTAs and offers do not work anymore. So the thing that I would say there is that you really have to be able to get pinpointed and tell people specifically what type of results they can expect if they choose to work with you. Second thing is we are still putting out these lead magnets. We are still putting out value hooks. We are still putting out those comment down below posts. We call them, you might call them 2 steps. There's many different names for them, but those posts where it's like, hey, I've got this freebie, who wants to get a hold of it? And this is a very important piece to the strategy still, because Why is someone requesting access to the Fat Loss 101 guide? It's like, well, it's probably because they're trying to lose fat. They're probably interested in something fitness related. They're trying to solve problems and figure this stuff out. And so it leads to really good inbound conversations where, again, the person's literally just saying, hey, will you please send me a DM? Will you please, talk to me about this and see if we can figure something out? So offers are still a very important piece. Now, whether you're putting them on the timeline, whether you're putting them in stories, it's not that big of a deal. What I would say is that stories right now feel a lot like old school emails. So stories are something that you can be putting offers on every single day, putting calls to actions on them every single day, as long as you are mixing them up and it's not just copy and paste, like lazily just putting out the same thing. We found that there's not really any sort of decline in doing daily offers over there. So I definitely recommend that. Now that you have a YouTube channel up and running, if you choose to use this system, we have a YouTube channel, so we can do calls to actions to go watch videos. We have lead magnets, so we can do calls to actions to actually sign up and how they get put on our email list. We can do calls to actions to like vote on a poll, which leads to a conversation. Right? There's so many different ways where we can get creative and we can mix these things up. Offers are still a really big piece of the old system that we are bringing over into this new system. Where things begin to get different though is we really have begun shifting from a lot of like how-to content. Back in the day, it was just like put out fitness content. How to do this, 3 tips for this, this is what you need to do. It was very much just like, just post fitness content because again, it doesn't really matter. Just post fitness content and then just go DM everybody and get them booked in for calls. Where things have really shifted is we call this now being the respected leader. The thing that people are actually following along with is they're following along and they're signing up for coaches. They're signing up because of the person, not necessarily because of the program itself. This has been a very, very, very big shift that has happened inside of marketing that we've seen over the last 12 months. It's no longer how to do something. It's, hey, this is how I do this. It's no longer like, hey, here are 3 tips. It's like, this is what I believe to be the most effective way to do this based off of, XYZ experience. And then showcasing your own results, your own experience, your client results. It's no longer just putting out like, hey, this is what you need to do. It's more so like, hey, this is who you need to become. This is the identity that you need to assume. This is the philosophy and lifestyle that you need to download if you actually want to get the type of results that you want. So we call this being the respected leader. And the difference here is that if you really want to win in 2025 in the content game, you really have to step up and you have to be a leader that people look at and they say, you know what, I would aspire to be more like that person. It's no longer about just preaching at people and just being like, here's your fitness facts for the day. If you want these results, you need to be doing this, this, and this. If you're not doing this, this, and this, you're not going to get results. Like that was the type of content that we used to post in the past. It was highly effective. It works because again, all you had to do is hit the DMs. Nowadays, again, people are really vetting coaches and they're consuming lots of content before they ever sign up to a program. And so what people are really doing is they're observing you, right? There's the old saying of like, people don't listen to what you say, like they watch what you do. They watch what you do, right? Like it's the old saying of like people say like, don't do as I say, like, or don't do as I do, like do as I say, right? It's like that is like bogus, like that is like boomer talk. Like nobody actually does that. People, we observe and we model after people. And the coaches that are crushing and that are winning right now in 2025, they have embodied this respected leader identity. They have stepped up in the market and they have said, you know what? I am the shining example of what winning looks like. I follow my own philosophy and I follow what it is I preach. And these are the type of results that I have. And if you would like results like me, then we should talk and you should join my program. That is the type of content that is winning right now. People are backing real leaders. They're looking for people that are actually walking the walk. They're looking for people that are not just preaching. They're not just telling people to do things, but that are actually executing and doing them themselves. It's very, very important. This is such a key piece that you really have to get right in 2025. You really have to be clear on what your purpose is, what your mission is, what you are passionate about. Like you have to be clear on who it is that you are as an individual, what it is you believe, and why you have gotten the type of results that you've gotten. Because right now, again, people are not just listening to what you're saying. The thing they're looking for is they are looking for that person that brings together a community. They are looking for a person who can become the room that they want to be a part of, that has the leadership ability to step into the room, to host the conversation, to have the energy to hold space for the kind of transformation that they're looking for. Like people are not just looking for an upper lower split and some macros. People are not just looking to purchase, your bro split with 24/7 check-ins. People are here nowadays because of the real life stuff. And that is the stuff they ultimately want help with. Yes, they're there for fitness, but they are no longer there. Again, if they just wanted a workout program, you can go to ChatGPT and you can say, hey, can you create for me a 12-week program? I can only go to the gym 3 days a week, and ChatGPT will give you a program. If that is still the thing that you're trying to sell, if you're still trying to sell the 12-week program with macros and 24/7 check-ins, like every other coach out there for $999 or $1,500, that is going to be why you are struggling so much here in 2025. And so That is how content is really shifted. Content is shifted to, we need to assume the identity of this respected leader. We need to bring people along into our own fitness journey. We need to actually create a story and a brand and a narrative about what winning actually looks like, and then being the shining example of that. And so that is what content is looking like in these places. We're not just preaching at people. If anything, it's actually kind of funny, and maybe this is a little bit cringe, but it's like, if anything, it's like influencer marketing is in right now, right? Like that very personable, like, hey, what's up? Like, this is a day in my life. This is like what I'm doing. Like, if you are afraid to be seen right now, let me flip it around and say it the other way. Right now, you need to have the courage to be seen, and you need to be willing to put yourself out there and to allow people into your life. And you cannot just be like a fitness avatar. You can't just hide behind a profile picture with a little bit of ChatGPT content and a little bit of how-to stuff and expect to get clients. You really have to allow people into your life, into the behind the scenes, to actually see who it is you are, what it is you actually do, what it is you actually represent. That's the kind of content right now that is signing clients. So we break it down into, you got results marketing, you have authority posts, you have leadership content, you have a hero's journey. These are the types of content that you need to be sharing again and again. So much of it is just personal. It's about you. It's about what you're doing and how you're actually getting results. So the first thing is we have this content ecosystem. We have these different places we're creating content, and it's very strategic, right? It's very strategic in this cold to sold process. Then we're posting the right types of content that people actually want to consume. Again, people are not interested in how-to content. They want to see how-I content. They want to understand what you're doing, who it is you are, and what your life looks like. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, they're saying, well, if I buy into your program, like, what's my life going to look like? And if they see your life and they're like, well, I don't like the way your life looks, well, then they're not going to want to join the program, right? So that's why that type of content is so important. But the reverse is true of that as well. If you got a dope life and you're dialed in and you're on your processes and you're excited and you're loving life and you're enjoying it and you love the systems and this process and the ways that you do things, showcasing that stuff is going to be so powerful. It's going to be the stuff like, it's just going to get people like hooked in and like super excited to actually want to talk to you and want to work with you. So then that leads us to the third and final piece of the actual content client funnel, the sales process. How is it then that we're actually taking these people, getting them off the profile, taking them through the kinds of content they want to see? We got to get them through the hours of content consumed so that they go from cold to sold. So what are we actually doing to get them enrolled into the program? So we actually have several different ways we're doing things right now, which is really cool. The old ways of doing business, the downfall was that there was kind of just like one single way. It was like, you got to get them in the DMs, then you got to get them on a free 15-minute like discovery call, then you got to get them on a sales call. In between the sales call, there's got to be information that's sent over. You hope that they show up to that sales call. Then you surprise them with the program and what it is, and you surprise them with the cost. And you're like, hey, like, we got to make a decision here today. And then you do all kinds of objection handling. It was such a long process. And if any single part of it, if you didn't execute it properly, if you didn't put in the right inputs into it, you would just end up doing all this work and then the person would just be gone. And a lot of times what would happen is in that process, if they would just like, not show up and they'd be gone, like they were gone. Like you would never hear from them again. Like they would either block you or they would just never respond to one of your messages or DMs ever again. Versus this new way of doing things, we have multiple ways of getting clients. We have multiple different tools in our toolkit. We have multiple different ways to promote ourselves. We have multiple different ways of enrolling clients. And so that allows us to have all these different looks and all these different tools and different things we can be promoting, and it's fun and it's exciting and like everything. It's not just this like stale, boring process of just slamming down the same road. Hey, book in this call. Hey, are you ready to book in a call? Hey, do you want to hop on that chat? Right? With the old way, it was just you just slam down this one single path. Again, we have multiple different ways to be selling. And so the first thing that's very important is the first thing we do with every single client that comes in is we create your offer and we put your offer inside of a 2-page Google Doc. And this is one of the most important key assets to be getting created from the beginning. We create your offer and then we actually type it out inside of a 2-page Google Doc. So I have all of the templates and the scripts for actually making that happen. People just kind of come in and they look at mine and they model it and they create their own. But what this offer does and what this document does is in the past, people would come to sales calls and they would be coming into these things blindly. They would be coming in there not understanding what your program was. Again, you would tell them about it for the first time, and then all of a sudden you're dropping price on them, and you're like, cool, it's like, are you ready to go? And then you got all this objection handling and things like that to get them signed up. What we're doing now is we are actually sending that information over to people before they ever even book in a sales call to begin with. So people are coming to sales calls, and the show rates are going way up on these sales calls. People are not ghosting these sales calls because they already know what they're getting into. They already know what the program looks like. They're coming into this with information. They're coming into this having already went and talked to the wife, talked to the husband. They've already done some research. They already understand what they're getting into. And these sales calls are now beginning to feel more like onboarding calls than they are sales calls. We're not having to do a lot of objection handling. We're not having to drag people across the line because the calls are just set up completely differently. So we've got this Google Doc, and this Google Doc is really, it's a pre-sales call asset. Now, the other cool part of this, I'm going to give you another asset we're creating. We're actually using this to, some of my clients are not actually taking sales calls. and they're using this Google document to actually do the closing and to get people enrolled into the program. And so what that looks like is there's another asset that's needed, which is what we call a mini VSL. Now, what the mini VSL does is this is a video that lives on our YouTube channel. And the mini VSL it's this video that talks about our story. It talks about our method. It talks about our program. It's a storytelling video where we explain to people how we got into fitness, why this is so important to us. We explain to them the way, the philosophy and the program that we actually have, and we tell the story around it of like why it's important to do it this way. It's not just like a factual like sales pitch or anything. Like we actually tell the story of why we do what we do, why we believe what we believe, how our experience with fitness has led up to this moment in time of this is what I do and this is how I help people and this is my journey. And we'll show like pictures of like this was me when I first got started, and then this is me like a couple years into lifting, and like this is me right now, and like back here in this in this picture, like the thing I was struggling with was this, and this. And we begin to tell our story. Again, what did I just talk about in the content before? It's like people want to know our personal story. They want to know what's our experience with this stuff. And so they will see bits and pieces of themselves. They'll say, wow, dude, like that, I didn't know, like some of my clients are jacked. They're shredded, they have abs, but their story is that it was not always that way. And so in their story, they're like, dude, I used to like struggle with yo-yo dieting, and like here's pictures of me when I was actually fat. And they're having clients like join up to the program that are like, dude, I always thought that you were just fit. I didn't know that you also struggled with yo-yo dieting. I didn't know that that was your story as well. And when I watched that video, like that's the thing that got me to sign up. Cause I was like, dude, if he went through all that and now he's got a 6-pack and he's jacked and he's shredded all the time, like it sounds like he would be able to help me as well. So we have this video sales letter, and the video sales letter, again, is something that lives on our YouTube channel, and it's really the main thing that we're sending people to. The video sales letter ends with a simple call to action that, hey, if this stuff was interesting to you, like, and you would like to get my help, go ahead and reach out to me, comment that, DM me this keyword, and I'll get you information. And so what our funnel right now is looking like is we have this content ecosystem. We got all these places. We got the town hall. We got the town center. We've got our long form content. Our ultimate goal is to get as many people to watch the video sales letter as possible. And then they reach out to us, they watch it, they go through it, and they go, dude, this actually sounds like a program that might be interesting to me. This sounds like a program that actually could probably help me. And from that video sales letter, it ends in a call to action to reach out to us. They reach out to us, they send us a DM, and then in the DMs, it just depends if you're taking sales calls or not, but that's where we either get them booked in for a sales call, and then we send that Google Doc over to them. We say, hey, this is the program, I'll talk to you tomorrow about it or whatever, but I just want to get this information over to you. And then they come to that sales call and you enroll them. Or if you're one of the clients that, hey, you actually want to just close in the DMs, you want to sign people up there, you go from the mini VSL, they DM you, and then you just drop this Google Doc over to them. And the Google Doc is just like, hey, are you in or are you out? It's one of those types of things. And so there's different ways to be doing things right now. We also do lots of things right now, like workshops. We're doing low ticket stuff. We've got communities. Again, like I said, we have so many different assets and tools in our toolkit. We've really built a productized offer over here. Like we have a business that has and a program that has many different components and elements to it. And we will take playbooks out of our e-courses and turn them into low ticket offers. We will take trainings that we're creating for our clients and we'll open it up to our audience and say like, hey, for like $9, you can show up to this client workshop and I can help you, calculate your macros, for instance. We have many different tools, again, in many different ways that we're actually monetizing. And it's just made business so much more fun. It's not just that like slam them down a call funnel, get them onto the discovery call, get them onto the sales call, drag them over the line. Like we're building these businesses around ourselves, around our purpose, our passion, our mission. We have all these different places that we're posting and it's fun and it's exciting. And we have these different offers and different ways to actually be converting people and to be engaging and starting conversations. And so that is like what things are looking like right now. I have my profile, I have my email list, I have my YouTube. The purpose of those is just to get content into people's hands where they can learn more about what it is I do, how it is I help people, the problems I solve. They can get to learn a little bit about my program. Then I'm posting the correct types of content on those platforms. I'm not just preaching at people, I'm showing people what it is I'm actually doing. I'm walking them through a day in my life. I'm walking them through the processes and the playbooks and the things that I actually do. I'm, for in the fitness instance, it's like I'm showing them the foods that I eat. I'm showing them the ways that I work out. I'm explaining to them my lifestyle and why I do things the way that I do them. And then that leads us to the content client funnel where the goal is to get as many people to this mini VSL as possible. The mini VSL shoots them in, it turns them into an inbound lead. They watch the mini VSL, they reach out to us as an inbound lead. And then from there, we take them into the next step of the sales process. Again, whether you just go ahead and you close them there in the DMs with your Google Doc, or if you decide to keep running sales calls, you get them booked in for a sales call and you get them enrolled right there into your program. And so, like I said, this is the most fun way of building a business that I found. The reason it's the most fun is because it's not built on, any one sort of like tactic or just like linear process that you just got to slam as many people down as possible. I'm building this business around myself. I'm creating content about me and about what I do and how I help people and my worldviews and the ways that I do things. I've built this business around myself, and it's not off the back of just like some gimmick. It's not off the back of like, well, I land clients when I do a scholarship, and then in the meantime, like I don't have anything to do, right? Like I've actually built a business and a lead generation system where people sign up to my programs because of the fact that I'm Tell Fisher, and the fact that I have the content client funnel, and the fact that I've built this program that is a good fit for them. Like they're joining up for all of the right reasons. They're not joining up because I just slammed them through a funnel. They're not joining up because I just drug them across the line. They're not joining up because of some sort of discount or like marketing gimmick or some sort of like fast action play. Like they're joining up because they want to work with me, and they like the way that I do things, and they like my worldview. They like the way that I actually help people. They see a world where the way I do things is the way that they would like to do things. And so they come work with me because I can help them replicate my business for them, right? And so the same thing's gonna happen for you inside of your business as well, where it's like people will see your fitness and how you do things and why you do the things that you do. And they'll ultimately join up because they want to be more like you. They want to learn to do things the way that you do them. And so it's a fundamental change in business. It's a philosophical, like entirely just like different approach. It's so different from everything else that is out there right now. All of the just linear slam it through processes that are out there that people are trying to grow their business through. Not only do I believe those funnels and ways of doing things don't work because of it's what I used to do, and it worked until it didn't work. To be fair, it used to work, but it just doesn't work as well anymore. And this is what I'm finding to actually get results. We have now enrolled 4 clients over the last 4 days, or actually the last 5 days, excuse me. So 4 clients over the last 5 days, and it's highly effective. This is what's crushing. And so I wanted to share that with you. Hopefully you took a little bit of value away from this. I know this is a little bit of a longer one, but I just wanted to share the process. It can be so simple right now. It can be so fun, but you've just got to have things set up, and you've got to be doing things in the right way. So with that being said, I'm going to cut this one off here. If you found this interesting and you would like to get my help actually installing this into your business, go ahead and reach out to me over on Instagram, message me community. I'd love to chat with you. I can send you over my Google Docs so you can learn a little bit more about my business and my program and what it is we actually do over here. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and end this one here, and I'll see you in the next one.